So today we are doing some of my greatest hits, the advice I always give people about being ace or arrow. So I've been doing ace dad advice for almost 5 years now, which, I mean, can you believe it has been that long? I cannot believe it has been that long. But it really has been an amazing journey. Over the course of the last 5 years, I have been able to connect with so many people, both online and in person at book events or at the talks that I give. And meeting all of those people and hearing all of their stories has been quite incredible. One thing that I take away from the last 5 years is that there truly is no one way to be A-spec, right? Ace and Arrow experience is such a wildly varied kind of experience that each individual person that I've met and interacted with is telling me a different story about how they connect their A-specness, how they live their A-spec identities. It's such a rich and expansive spectrum. But I've also found over the last 5 years that there are certain things that come up time and time again, particularly in terms of advice. Advice that I give over and over and over again in different contexts to different people. So I thought that in this video, I would gather my 4 big greatest hits of advice. Advice that I seem to deliver often, advice people are seeking out often, and put them all in one place so they're there for you if you need them. So let's get into it. You are the authority on your own experience. I cannot count the number of times that I have received messages or emails or spoken to people where the question comes up, yeah, this resonates with me. Yes, being ace or arrow feels right. But how do I know for sure? Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the thing my friend said. Maybe it's the thing my mom said. And this comes up over and over and over again. How do I know for sure? My answer is always, you are the authority on your own experience. The only person who knows what is truly going on inside your body, inside your mind, and inside your heart is you. You're living in that body. You know what's going on better than anybody else. So no matter how wise or learned or authoritative people may be from the outside, they can never really know more about you than you. So if you decide that being ace or being arrow accurately describes the experience you're having, then that's what's happening. You are the one who knows better than anyone. You know the truth because you're the one living it. There's also the anxiety that comes up. Well, how do I know that this is really? How do I know I'm not experiencing sexual attraction? If I don't really know what sexual attraction is, how do I know for sure that I'm only experiencing it in these circumstances? This becomes a matter of trusting your authority. You don't have to line your experience up with some external checklist that someone's posted on the internet or that some other A-spec person has told you must be met in order for you to qualify to be A-spec. You can just decide the things that are happening to me, I'm going to call them this because that makes me feel the best, because that makes me feel whole, because that makes me feel like myself. At the end of the day, as they always say, trust yourself to know what's happening with you because you are the authority of your own life and experience. Things can be messy and things can change. Another anxiety that comes up for a lot of people and has come up many times over the 5 years I've been doing this is the anxiety around, well, what if it's like not quite exactly the way other people describe it or the way things are defined? And what if it kind of changes sometimes? What if it's not always 100% consistent? Look, we are messy human beings living messy human lives, and there's probably no part of human experience that is messier than human sexuality. I mean, like, that is a very messy place to be. So part of us accepting our identity as A-spec people or queer people or really like any part of us in general is accepting the fact that it might get messy and things might change, because messiness and fluidity are a natural part of the human experience. Maybe your experience of demisexuality, for example, doesn't exactly fit the precise definitions that exist for demisexuality. That's okay. That doesn't mean you're not demi. It just means that the precise definitions of demisexuality that exist are approximations that get as close as they can to describing being demi as words can get. So maybe you are a sex-averse ace person, but maybe one or two times in your life, you've been kind of open to the idea of a little bit of a spicy time. That doesn't mean that you're not sex averse. That just means that change and flexibility and fluidity exists within our experience. You can let go the anxiety around the messy borders of your experience because, spoilers, everybody has those messy borders around their experience. If you want to live the best aspec life you can live, allow for messiness, allow for change, allow for fluidity, because all of those things, those messinesses, those weird fluctuations, those unexpected surprises, they're just part of being human. You don't owe everyone an explanation. When I've encountered folks who have negative ideas about their own aspec experience, a common theme that shows up in why they're feeling these negative ideas about being aspec is that other people just don't believe them. Other people in their lives, maybe their friends, maybe their family, maybe their partners, refuse to engage sincerely with the fact of their existence. So there's always a whataboutism in it. There's always a that's not real. There's always a poking holes or trying to but what about? And these aspec folks feel that they have to always engage that kind of conversation with other people again and again. They feel this need or obligation to explain themselves to everyone. And if there's one thing that kills the buzz of living your best aspec life, it is absolutely feeling like you have to explain yourself at every moment. When you recognize and embrace your aspec identity, that's what's true. Full stop. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. The way you understand yourself is the truth of yourself. And when other people push at that or poke at that, suggest that it isn't real, suggest that you don't know what's true about yourself, you are not under any obligation to engage in that bad faith conversation. It's totally okay to explain yourself when people have good faith questions. When someone approaches you with curiosity about your aspec experience and they are wanting that information because it will then help them be a better friend to you or be a better partner, that's 100%. Yes, go and explain yourself. But you're not obligated to engage in bad faith behavior. You're not obligated to engage in a bad faith conversation. The person who engages your aspec identity by saying things like, well, that just means that you're mentally ill, or that just means that you need to go see a doctor, or that's not a real thing, those people have no desire to fully understand or expand their own ideas about how people can be in the world. So you don't have to do the work of trying to teach the unteachable. Save your good PowerPoint energy for the people who come at you in good faith, for the people who ask questions in order to understand you better, because understanding you better will help them be better to you. Hey friend, if you're enjoying this video and have enjoyed other Ace Dad Advice videos on YouTube, why not come and join me on Patreon? Patreon subscribers help keep Ace Dad Advice going as a project, and for just a small monthly fee, which you can pay monthly or annually, you get bonus Ace Dad video content, discounts on digital workshops, and membership in the Ace Dad Book Club, and a lot of other stuff. So come and check me out on Patreon. The link is in the description below, and help me keep making content like this. Thanks. No apologies. This bit of advice is advice I give all the time, and it's even advice that I have to give myself a lot. We need to live our aspec lives unapologetically in the world, in our relationships, and with ourselves, because being aspec is nothing to apologize for. It's no surprise that all of us, from the minute that we are born, are pushed into the world and are fed messages about what is expected of us, how we are expected to live in our bodies, how we are expected to interact with other people, what we are expected to dream about, what we are expected to want and do in the world. Because we are inundated with all of those messages all the time from the very beginning, it is very easy for any person who wants or is something different than those expectations to feel like they're doing something wrong by being different. So even though we have gone through the process of embracing our ace and aro identities ourselves, we can still hold on subconsciously to ideas that being ace or aro is somehow wrong, or somehow something that we should be ashamed of, something that we should apologize for not meeting the expectations that have been pushed on us all our lives. That shows up in a lot of ways. That shows up, for example, in relationships where the aspec person is always putting themselves down or apologizing or compromising away from themselves toward their allo partner. So where we can, we need to always be unapologetic. We need to treat being aspec not as some deficiency in us. We need to treat being aspec not as something that other people just have to put up with or deal with. We have to treat our aspec identity as something wonderful about us, as a plus, as a feature, not a bug. Now, I am not saying that process is easy. I am 49 years old. I have been very comfortable as an aspec person for the last 9 years or so, and I still struggle greatly with that very thing. What matters is not getting it right 100% of the time. What matters is trying to get to that 100% of the time. When you find yourself apologizing, just catch yourself and remind yourself to do better next time. But where you can, be unapologetic. There is nothing about you as an ace or aro person that requires apology. You are pretty great just as you are. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you check out others because I have good advice of other kinds in other places. And as always, friends, I'm glad you're here.